Do you think the HJT technology is going to come to utility scale solar as well? Or is it already?
Absolutely. So that's a really good point. So utility scale, the reason that a lot of companies aren't selling that into utility scale is a very low margin business. So
You
how do
guys
you
do utility too, right? I mean,
we used
probably a significant percentage of your business is utility as well, right?
we
Or is it
used to do
mostly?
utility. We stopped doing utility in 2018
Okay.
because we were capacity limited. We only had 1.2 gigawatts of capacity, and we
Mhm.
were selling all of that into residential and CNI.
In
Um,
Europe and US mostly, I
right.
assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was no need to sell into utility scale because you sell into a utility scale project, you've just sold 400 megawatts. So with us, that'd be a third of our capacity, annual capacity at very low margins. Now, if you're
Mhm.
making 7, 8, 10 gigawatts, you've got capacity that you can sell off into that, and still, those margins aren't going to kill your bottom line. So we are moving into, we will be producing a utility scale product within the next 18 months, but in our factory in Jamnagar, India. But the question about will HJT make it into utility scale? I believe it will. It becomes a question of can you make it affordable enough for the utility scale? The utility scale, they really like having more power. And if you remember, go back to the slide about the benefits, the
Mhm.
bifaciality of an HJT product is higher than TopCon or any of the other HJT products out there. So if you've got a 95% bifacial rate, you can actually, you'll be getting more energy. Ultimately,
Probably 5 to 10% more energy than the regular.
right. And that's huge in utility scale. So then it
Sure.
just becomes an LCOE, levelized cost of energy question.
Yeah.
So you're going to be getting more energy, but what is the cost of that energy? And if, it becomes a
Well, the only
trade-off.
one. Yeah.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done on bifaciality, understanding how bifaciality really, how we can optimize bifaciality for
Mhm.
utility scale. And once I believe that is figured out, the HJT product will become more used. I don't know what to say it's prevalent, but I believe there will be use. I mean, we're banking on it. It will be happening. We'll be selling it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Got it.
And I think there's going to be a good market for it. But can you fight with some of the prices of some of these products coming out? I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. If I'm buying something that's going to be this is a 25-year relationship. Now they're moving out to 30 years, 40-year relationships.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out and buy the cheapest product out there. There's a couple of things you don't want bargains on. You don't want to bargain on, brain surgery and tattoos. Those are the things I'm not looking for the lowest cost on those things.
Yeah. And you having worked at REC for 14 years, now, if I were buying from REC, I would feel good that somebody knows why certain decisions were made the way they were. And that comes through in this conversation. So thank you for that.